All right, guys, a quick recap explanation of some of the calls I made in the chat room today. I'm going to show you the calls, but I also want to explain why I made them. PNK is one of them, okay? It had nice volume, and at the time, you got a picture, this was a solid green candle all the way up near 24, okay? Which was the last recent high. These are setups I really like because anytime you have a candle, you don't see too many candles on PNK here. If you look back over its history, recent history, you don't see too many candles with this kind of range, okay, between here and here in one day. So that was a big range, so it's come a long way and is hitting recent highs. Those are pretty good setups for a fade or go, to go the other way. I didn't call this perfectly, but I called this at 23.80 with a stop at 24.30. Now that sounds really wide for a day trade, and it is, but that was one of my set and forget trades. And I call them on these type of setups, okay, where I've had a big move into recent highs, into resistance, and I feel like it's going to chop around a bit, so I don't want to try to be exact and take a couple stop outs and try it again and try it again and try it again and keep getting commissioned. How's that for a word? Keep getting hit on commissions and taking small losses. Those add up. So when I spot one like this, I'll usually take it much smaller and give it a 50-cent stop and just let it play out. And let's look at it now. All right, so took it around 23.80, somewhere, I believe, probably right here on this pullback as it was starting to roll over, because it looked like it was going to looked like it had topped out. All right, so 23.80. Now look what happens. It comes up and takes out the high of the day. Now if that was a day trade, I'm stopped out. I take a loss, and and commissions and everything else. But because I took this smaller on a set and forget, and I don't do this for every trade, but on this style, I like to do it, and that's the way I called it for the chat room. 23.80. The high of day break does nothing. A lot of people were panicking, saying, well, this doesn't look good. It's hitting new highs for the day. But if you took that small enough and honored the 50-cent stop, look what happens. It goes all the way down to 23.17. So over 60-cent move in our favor. And it did exactly what this trade was designed to do. It kept you out of this little, what I call a stop run here over the whole number 24. Okay? Kept you from getting stopped out there. Couple other calls. JASO. You see this volume spike here? Generally, this is something I like to do in the chat room. You get a big volume spike in anything. Now, because it's already broken its early high of the day, I have a steadfast rule. Okay, there's the early high. All right, all of a sudden you get this volume spike. Because it's already above its early high, I absolutely don't chase it. Your gut says, ooh, this is something big's going on, and you can end up buying it up here. Just chasing it, look what happens. Next thing you know, you're feeling like an idiot. So what I do on a big volume spike that's already hitting new highs for the day, I'll switch to 2-minute candles. This is kind of what I default to. It doesn't always work. So there you go. I switch to 2-minute candles, and I wait for a 2-minute buy setup. Okay, so you've got a high, lower high still, a lower high still. And now, instead of being the people that bought it up here and we're selling down here only to watch it turn back up, we were buying it right over this candle here. It's kind of hard to see. 10.17, 10.05 stop. And it kind of took all day to really give a nice gain, but we were green pretty quickly. It did go up over 10.30, ended up closing strong, and actually took out the early highs, went to 10.51 without stopping out. So MOBI was another one, a lot like that. Okay, MOBI. I saw the volume spike. It had already taken out the high of the day. So generally, what do? I switch to 2-minute candles. And there you go. So now I've got a high after the volume spike, pretty clear high, and I've got a lower high. Okay, so if the next candle breaks this candle's high, I'm in. So I called this long in the chat room, 747 with a 736 stop. There's the trigger. And it ended up climbing most of the rest of the day, went all the way to 8. And our stop was, 11 cents below. Never got hit. So there's some examples of what we do in the chat room. Another different example from today, KNDI was very close to the high of the day here. Ran up, pulled back into the 8-period moving average. I just called it on a 5-minute buy setup along over this candle, 12.53 with a 12.37 stop. There's the trigger. And next thing you know, we're hitting new highs for the day, and people are chasing, and we're selling to them. Okay, so that was a pretty good setup. It came close to the high of the day, very clean pullback, and then took off. So KNDI was nice as well. HRB is another example of one that we got to see that volume spike there. Let me switch to. Okay, so now you've got a big volume spike, and now you've got a lower high on twos. So the long is over this candle, 28.31, and the stop was 28.14. Now that wasn't huge, but it did get up over 28.50. So there's an example. These are the things we look for as a group. It's very much a team sport. Trading isn't usually considered a team sport, but it's very much a team sport in our chat room. And we always have people saying, typing in, hey, XYZ getting volume. And then we know what to look for, right? Many other reversal type setups as well, but there's just a few examples from the room today on the things that we do. I'm not going to babble any further. I'm going to go, I've got a few interesting stocks. I'll probably put out a video later tonight on some of these stocks that I'm watching for tomorrow. All right, have a great night.